Imagine flying over a property and spotting a home shaped like a giant letter H. Two massive steel arches, a glass hallway floating between them, a private courtyard hidden to the center. From the ground, it looks unlike any Barndominium you've ever seen. But here's the surprising part. This unusual layout isn't just about looking different. It can reduce structural complexity, separate noisy and quiet living spaces, and create a home that feels brighter, more private, and more connected to the outdoors. So why aren't more people building them? Today we're stepping inside the H-shaped steel arch Barndominium to uncover the real costs, the biggest design mistakes, and the hidden advantages that are making this one of the most talked about alternative home designs of 2026. Before we dive in, welcome to Barndo Dreams, where we explore the smartest designs, real construction costs, and hidden ideas behind today's most incredible Barndominiums. If you enjoy honest breakdowns without the sales pitch, subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications. We release a new build breakdown every week. Now, let's see why this unusual shape is getting so much attention. At first glance, it almost looks like two separate buildings. In reality, it's one carefully planned home. Each side is formed by a self-supporting steel arch, creating two strong, open spaces without the need for conventional roof framing. Those two arches are then connected by a central section, often filled with glass, that becomes the heart of the home. From above, the layout forms the letter H. One wing can hold the bedrooms and private spaces. The other can house the kitchen, living room, workshop, or garage. Between them sits a bright, shared gathering area that naturally links both sides together. The idea isn't entirely new. Steel arch structures have been used for decades to protect aircraft, farm equipment, and industrial buildings because they're known for their strength and efficient use of materials. What's changing in 2026 is how homeowners are adapting that same structural concept into a modern family home. Instead of feeling like a warehouse, it feels open, private, and surprisingly luxurious. And that's where this design becomes really interesting. Because the biggest advantage of the H-shaped steel arch isn't how it looks. It's how it changes the way a family actually lives inside it. Here's the part most people miss. The H-shape isn't just a cool silhouette. It solves a real problem that plain rectangular barndos struggle with: zoning. Site index equals 2-1. Sprawling U-shaped and H-shaped floor plans have become common in the more elaborate end of the Barndominium world/site. And there's a practical reason for that beyond looks. One arch wing becomes the private zone, bedrooms, bathrooms, a quiet home office. The other wing becomes the active zone, a garage, a workshop, a media room, whatever the household actually uses daily. The connecting spine in the middle holds the kitchen, dining, and living area, acting as a buffer that keeps noise and traffic from one wing bleeding into the other. That's a level of separation a single open rectangle just can't give you without adding interior walls that chop up the clear span space you paid for in the first place. There's also a light story here. Because the central connector is typically built with a lower, flatter roofline and more glass than the arches themselves, it becomes the brightest room in the house. A sunroom/living room hybrid that pulls natural light deep into the plan from two directions instead of one. Site index equals 2-1. Raised, light-flooding rooflines are already a signature move in more architecturally distinct Barndo designs/site, and the H-shaped glass bridge takes that idea and makes it the centerpiece instead of an accent. And because each arch is a genuinely independent structure, the curved ceiling inside creates a natural loft or mezzanine opportunity at each end. A reading nook, a storage loft, a bunk space, tucked into the rise of the arch where a flat-roofed home would just have dead attic space. Think about how that plays out in real life. Instead of a boxy attic accessed by a pull-down ladder, you get an open rail loft that looks down into the wing below, following the curve of the roof the whole way up. Homeowners are using these loft pockets for kids' bunk rooms, a home office tucked above the garage wing, or simply extra storage that doesn't eat into the living footprint below. It's a small detail, but it's one of the clearest examples of the arch shape turning what would normally be wasted structural space into square footage you actually live in, which is the entire promise of this design in a single sentence. Let's talk money, because this is where the arch shape genuinely changes the math compared to a standard post frame or rigid frame barndo. A basic arch kit, the corrugated steel panels themselves, without foundation or finishing, typically run somewhere in the range of $6 to $20 per square foot, and that number has stayed fairly stable through 2026 as more manufacturers have entered the market. But that's the kit price, not the livable price. Once you add solid end walls, a proper foundation with thrust anchoring, insulation, doors, windows, and interior finishing, a fully installed and finished arch home typically lands somewhere between $40 and $125 per square foot, depending on size and finish level. Here's the honest trade-off nobody puts in the headline. Arches lose usable floor space to the curve. Where the wall meets the ceiling, that space becomes too low to stand in. So a chunk of the square footage you're paying for isn't fully functional the way a straight wall building space is. Some estimates put that loss around 20 to 25% of the footprint in a basic semicircular arch. That's a real number to plan around, not a reason to panic. And it's exactly why the H-shaped central connector matters so much. By putting your main living space in a flat-roofed, full-height section between the arches, you get the cost savings of the arch wings without losing your main gathering space to the curve. The upside is real too. Arch construction is fast. There's no truss engineering, no complicated roof framing, and a crew experienced with the system can often erect the shell in days rather than weeks. The steel is also inherently strong against wind and snow loads without extra bracing, which is a genuine advantage in a lot of the regions where Barndominiums are popular. So what does an H-shaped steel arch Barndominium actually feel like inside? Picture arriving just after sunset. Two curved steel arches stand on either side, finished in matte black or charcoal, while a glass connector glows softly between them like a floating lantern. It's bold, modern, and surprisingly welcoming. To soften the industrial look, many homeowners are pairing the steel with warm cedar, natural stone, or board and batten siding. The contrast makes the home feel less like a converted steel building and more like a custom luxury retreat. Step inside, and the biggest surprise is overhead. Instead of hiding the curved steel ceiling behind drywall, designers are leaving the arch exposed. Warm lighting highlights every curve, while natural wood, soft fabrics, and clean modern finishes balance the steel, creating a space that feels both contemporary and comfortable. Then comes one of the smartest ideas behind the H-shaped layout. Instead of trying to make every room do everything, homeowners are giving each wing a clear purpose. One arch becomes the private living wing, with bedrooms and quiet spaces. The other becomes the activity wing, housing a workshop, home office, gym, guest suite, or even a safe room. The glass connector in the middle becomes the shared heart of the home, bringing both sides together while filling the interior with natural light. It's a layout that's not only beautiful, it's designed around the way families actually live. Now, the part that actually saves you money. The mistakes we keep seeing people make with this shape. Mistake 1. Underestimating end wall costs. People fall in love with the low per square foot price of the bare arch kit, and forget that 2 arches means double the end walls, double the door and window framing, and double the specialized flashing where the curve meets a flat surface. That line item alone can add tens of thousands of dollars that a lot of first-time buyers don't budget for. Mistake 2. Treating the connector as an afterthought. The glass spine between the arches is structurally the most complicated part of an H-shaped build, because it's where 2 different roof systems meet. Skimp on the transition detailing here, and you're looking at leaks down the road. This is not the place to cut corners or hand to an inexperienced crew. Mistake 3. Ignoring the headroom loss inside the arches. Furniture placement against a curved wall is genuinely different from a straight one. Owners who don't plan for it end up with beds, dressers, or cabinets that don't fit flush, wasting the very space they thought they were gaining. Mistake 4. Building both wings identical out of habit. The whole advantage of the H-shape is that each wing can serve a completely different function. Mirroring 2 identical bedroom wings, just because that's what a standard floor plan looks like, wastes the structural flexibility you're paying extra for. A few things to sort out before you commit to this shape specifically. First, check with your local building department early. Arch structures aren't as universally familiar to permitting offices as standard stick-framed or post-frame homes, and an H-shaped plan with 2 separate structural systems joined by a third can raise extra questions during plan review. Get an engineer's stamped drawings before you submit anything. Second, talk to lenders and appraisers before you fall in love with a plan. Site index equals 11-1. Arch-style structures can be harder to finance and tend to carry lower resale value than a standard rigid frame metal building/site. So if resale matters to you, it's worth having that conversation with a local lender up front rather than after the shell is up. Third, think honestly about your land. The H shape has a wider footprint than a simple rectangle, and the two wings plus the connector need enough level ground to sit well without expensive grading. Site index equals 7-1. Your lot, setbacks, and driveway access will decide more of your final layout than most people expect/site. So walk the site with your plan in hand before finalizing anything. And finally, budget a real contingency. Between the double-end walls, the connector detailing, and the specialized labor an arch build sometimes requires, a 10 to 15% buffer above your contractor's quote is a reasonable cushion for a shape this unconventional. One more thing worth doing before you sign anything. Find a builder who has actually erected an arch structure before, not just a standard post-frame barndo. The engineering that goes into a thrust-resistant foundation and a watertight arch-to-flat roof transition is a specialized skill set, and it's not something every barndo contractor has hands-on experience with. Ask to see photos of a completed project, not just renderings, and talk to a past client if you can. On a shape this unusual, experience matters more than the lowest bid. So, is the H-shaped steel arch Barndominium the next big shift in metal home design, or a striking niche that only makes sense for the right buyer and the right lot? Honestly, it's probably both. The zoning benefits and the light-filled connector are genuinely clever solutions to problems every open-plan barndo owner runs into. But the added cost, the financing hurdles, and the specialized build knowledge mean this isn't a shape to choose just because it looks incredible in a rendering. If this one had you rethinking what a barndo can look like, you're going to want to stick around, because next episode we're going even further outside the box. Next time on Barndo Dreams, we're counting down 10 A-shaped Barndominiums that are hiding something nobody expects. Full courtyards tucked right inside that steep, dramatic roofline. From private outdoor kitchens to hidden pools, you will not believe what's living inside these A-frames. Subscribe now so you don't miss it, and we'll see you in the next one.